Do less, earn more. How Smart Creators Use Leverage to Win, written by Ronnie Rowland. Published by Growth Literacy Lounge. Don't get addicted to the grind. Get addicted to the results. Tony Robbins. It's 11:42 p.m. Your laptop is still open. Notifications keep buzzing. You've posted, replied, recorded, edited, and somehow, it still feels like you're falling behind. Sound familiar? Welcome to the Creator Hamster Wheel. The place where effort never sleeps, output is endless, and results feel just out of reach. If you've ever thought, there has to be a better way, you're right. There is. This book is for the creator who's tired of running at full speed with no finish line. It's for the strategist in you who wants more impact, more income, and yes, more freedom, without sacrificing your health or your sanity. It's for the builder who's ready to stop grinding and start designing. Because here's the truth most people won't say out loud: hustle doesn't scale. You only have so many hours, so much energy, so much bandwidth. If your income depends on how often you show up, you're not free, you're trapped. But leverage? Leverage sets you free. Leverage is how smart creators win. Not by doing more, but by doing the right things that keep working long after you're done. Instead of trading hours for dollars, they build assets. Instead of chasing algorithms, they build trust. Instead of drowning in to-do lists, they build systems, and every move they make is designed to multiply. In this book, you'll learn exactly how they do it. You'll discover the 3 types of leverage that top creators use to scale effortlessly: content, tech, and audience, and how to combine them into a blueprint that works for you. But this isn't about theory, it's about transformation. Real stories, real strategies, real momentum, built one smart decision at a time. You don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to work more. You just need to build the things that do the work for you. Let's leave the grind behind. Let's build leverage. Let's do less and earn more. Chapter 1. Content Leverage. Build once, earn forever. In 2018, a creator named Justin released a 5-minute YouTube video reviewing a new productivity app. It wasn't flashy, no viral gimmicks. Just a calm, clear explanation of how the tool worked and why it mattered. The video took 3 hours to script, record, and edit. Then he hit publish and moved on. What happened next surprised even him. That video kept getting views. Thousands, then tens of thousands. People bookmarked it, shared it, referenced it in forums. Sponsors reached out. And 4 years later, that same 5-minute video had earned over $60,000 and still brings in income today. This is content leverage. It's not magic. It's math. You create something once, a video, podcast, article, course, or newsletter, and instead of it expiring in a scroll feed, it keeps working. It keeps earning. It keeps growing your reach while you sleep, eat, or take a week off. Contrast that with the typical content grind: post daily, chase trends, fight the algorithm. You pour hours into content that disappears in hours. The hamster wheel keeps spinning. But the creators who truly win, who decouple time from income, play a different game. They build digital assets, evergreen content, products that don't expire. The difference isn't talent, it's thinking. Leverage creators ask, what can I build once that keeps paying off? They don't just make content, they make assets. Instead of sprinting toward the next post, they design systems: a YouTube channel with searchable tutorials, an evergreen email course that nurtures new leads, and a paid webinar that runs on autopilot. They choose platforms where the shelf life is long, the discoverability is high, and the audience builds over time. They think about distribution. They repurpose wisely. One blog post becomes a Twitter thread, a podcast segment, and an email. One idea spawns 5 formats, and all roads lead back to the asset. It's tempting to think this model is only for the big names. It's not. It works for micro creators too. A freelancer packages their expertise into a mini course. A designer turns portfolio advice into a $29 ebook. A nutritionist records a short audio series on meal planning. These aren't flashes of content, they're seeds, planted once, watered with distribution, harvested over time. They free the creator from the constant demand to show up in real time, and they flip the script. Now your content works for you. Getting started doesn't require fancy gear or a massive following. It requires clarity. What problem do you solve? What do people ask you for again and again? Capture that. Teach that. Package that. If you know enough to help someone, you know enough to build an asset. Choose a format that fits your voice, writing, video, audio, and publish where your audience naturally gathers. Think long term. Don't chase trends, solve timeless problems. Don't just hit publish, build with intention. The payoff is leverage, not just in income, but in impact. Your work travels farther than you do. You wake up to thank you emails from people you've never met. You see sales notifications during dinner. And slowly, quietly, your asset base becomes your safety net. Your content becomes your compounding force. One video doesn't change your life. But 10? 20? A full library of evergreen value? That's leverage. That's how you earn more, by doing less of what doesn't scale, and more of what does. So here's the new creator question. Rise see Namashun. What can I build today that still earns tomorrow? Answer that, and you stop being a content machine. You start becoming a creator with leverage. Content leverage means building assets, not just posts. Evergreen content creates compounding impact over time. You don't need to be famous, just focused and consistent. What piece of content could you create today that solves a recurring problem your audience faces? Choose one content idea you can turn into an evergreen asset this week: a tutorial, a guide, a template, or a mini course. Start building. Chapter 2. Audience Leverage. Trust is the ultimate amplifier. When a creator named Lacey launched her first digital course, she had just 973 followers on Instagram. No ads, no paid promotion. She made $18,000 in 10 days. Her secret? Trust. Her audience wasn't massive, but it was engaged. She had spent months replying to DMs, showing up with value, sharing behind-the-scenes stories, and answering questions. So when she finally made an offer, it didn't feel like a pitch. It felt like a recommendation from a trusted friend. That's audience leverage, when one message moves many, because trust is already in place. Most creators focus on growth. More followers, more views, bigger numbers. But growth without trust is hollow. It's easy to get attention. It's hard to keep it, and even harder to convert it into action. Audience leverage flips the script. Instead of chasing reach, it builds relationship. Instead of pushing content to strangers, it speaks directly to a tribe. The value isn't in how many people follow you. It's in how many trust you enough to act when you speak. Trust compounds. It starts with consistency. When you show up with value over time, people begin to rely on you. They see you not just as a creator, but as a guide. Then it deepens through vulnerability, the kind that makes your audience feel seen, not just the polished wins, but the messy middle, the honest learning. The human side. When people relate to you, they remember you. And when you invite them to take a step, sign up, buy, share, they respond. Audience leverage doesn't mean manipulating people. It means earning their permission. Permission to speak into their lives. And permission to offer solutions. Permission to lead. And that permission doesn't come from clever sales tactics. It comes from generosity. Give more than you take. Show up even when you're not launching. Share what's working and what's not. Invite dialogue, not just broadcasts. Ask questions. Listen to the answers. When people feel heard, they lean in. It's also not just about social media. Audience leverage lives in email lists, communities, and private channels, places where attention is focused and connection runs deeper. A tweet can go viral. But an email feels personal. A forum post can start a thread. But a private community can spark a movement. The more direct the connection, the more leverage you gain. Because now you're not speaking into the void, you're speaking to people who've already raised their hands. The most powerful form of leverage is word of mouth. When your audience talks about you, you multiply your reach without doing extra work. That only happens when trust is real. Not transactional, real. Built over time, tested through value, confirmed by experience. If someone has a good experience with your free content, they're more likely to trust your paid offer. If they trust your paid offer, they'll tell others, and the flywheel spins. Start small. You don't need 10,000 followers to have impact. You need 10 people who care. Talk to them, serve them. Earn the right to lead them, and over time, that trust becomes your amplifier. When you launch, they show up. When you ask, they answer. When you move, they move with you. Because they're not just following your content, they're following your voice. In a world chasing reach, choose depth. Influence isn't measured by volume, it's measured by trust. Build that, and you'll never launch to silence again. Audience size matters less than audience trust. Trust is earned through value, consistency, and vulnerability. True leverage comes from connection, not just reach. Where in your current content strategy are you building relationship, not just reach? Reach out to 5 followers, subscribers, or readers. Ask what they're struggling with. Start a real conversation. Chapter 3. Tech Leverage. Automate the mundane, elevate the meaningful. Imagine waking up, checking your phone, and seeing 5 new course sales, 3 newsletter signups, and a calendar filled with pre-scheduled content, all before your first cup of coffee. That's not hustle. That's tech leverage. It's what happens when technology works around the clock so you don't have to. And the best part? You don't need to be a coder or a tech wizard. You just need to think like a systems builder instead of a task manager. Most creators spend their energy on repeatable tasks, sending emails, scheduling posts, responding to payment notifications, tracking metrics. It's death by 1,000 admin cuts. The work never ends, but the progress feels thin. Tech leverage breaks that cycle. With the right tools and automations, you can create systems that run without you. You do the setup once, and the system executes endlessly. You reclaim your energy for work that matters, creating, connecting, innovating. Let's get specific. Email sequences are one of the simplest and most powerful examples of tech leverage. You write them once, a welcome series, a product pitch, a nurture flow, and your email platform sends them on autopilot to every new subscriber. Whether someone joins your list at midnight or Monday morning, they get the same tailored experience. Meanwhile, you're off creating your next asset. That's scalable intimacy. It feels personal, but it's powered by automation. Same with scheduling tools. You don't have to manually post every update, story, or video. Platforms like Buffer, Hypefree, or Later let you batch content when you're in flow, then distribute it across days or weeks. Your presence stays active, even when you're resting. Calendar automations like Calendly eliminate the back and forth of booking calls. Payment processors like Stripe or Gumroad handle transactions while you sleep. Zapier connects tools without a single line of code, moving data from one platform to another with no manual input. It's not about replacing human connection. It's about removing human repetition. Automation doesn't make your brand robotic, it makes it reliable. And it frees you up for the work only you can do. When tech handles the routine, you can focus on the remarkable. Instead of chasing reminders or checking inboxes, you're deep in your zone of genius, writing, recording, designing, thinking. You move from reactive to proactive. But here's the key: don't build a complicated machine, start simple. One automation can save you hours a week. One workflow can multiply your impact. Ask yourself, what do I do every week that I could delegate to software? Where do things fall through the cracks? What's annoying, repetitive, and easily mapped? That's where tech belongs. You don't need dozens of tools. You need the right tools, working together in harmony. Think of tech like an invisible team. It doesn't take breaks. It doesn't get tired. It just runs. And when it runs well, your business starts to feel lighter, less chaos, more clarity. Less chasing, more building. You wake up knowing things are moving forward, even while you rest. Tech leverage isn't flashy, it's foundational. The creators who scale the fastest aren't the ones working the hardest. They're the ones whose systems do the heavy lifting. They don't check every email or manually tag every subscriber. They architect experiences, and they trust their systems to deliver them. So here's the new rule. If you do it more than twice, automate it. Your future self will thank you. Or tech leverage automates low-impact tasks so you can focus on high-impact work. Simple tools and workflows can multiply your time and output. You don't need more hours, just smarter systems. What recurring task could you automate this week to reclaim time and energy? Choose one automation tool, email, scheduling, or payment, and set up a basic workflow that runs without you. Chapter 4. How to Stack Leverage, the 1-2-3 combo that prints value. Separately, content, tech, and audience leverage are powerful. But when you stack them together, the game changes. Suddenly, one piece of content turns into a system. That system reaches people automatically. And when it lands, it converts, because your audience trusts you. This is leverage in its purest form: small inputs, exponential outputs. Most creators treat leverage like a buffet: pick one and hope it works. The smart ones? They stack it like a blueprint. They know the real magic happens in the intersection. Take a creator named Anna. She wrote a free ebook answering the top questions she kept getting from her coaching clients. That's content leverage. She built it once and used it as her lead magnet. Next, she connected the download to an automated welcome sequence using ConvertKit. That's tech leverage. Over 5 days, the emails introduced her story, shared testimonials, and offered a discounted mini course. Finally, she promoted the ebook on her podcast and in her community Discord, where she already had trust and attention. That's audience leverage. The result? 1 digital product, 0 sales calls, and consistent weekly income. Stacking leverage means thinking holistically, not what can I post today, but what system am I building? Every piece supports the next. Content attracts, tech delivers, audience amplifies. And because each layer reinforces the others, the whole stack compounds. Your content becomes a magnet. Your tech becomes a machine. Your audience becomes a multiplier. You're no longer launching into silence, you're launching into momentum. Here's the shift: most creators operate in silos. They create content, then scramble to post it, hope it gets noticed, and maybe throw up a Stripe link. It's disconnected. There's no flow. But with a leverage stack, every step is intentional. A podcast episode leads to an email opt-in. That email series builds trust and funnels to a product. That product satisfies a known need from your audience, and every sale is just the visible tip of an invisible system working underneath. The key is sequencing. Start with what you have, then layer upward. If you already have a small audience, build content that serves them deeply. If you've got solid content but no systems, start automating distribution and delivery. If you've automated a few things but lack trust, focus on deepening your relationship with your people. The order doesn't matter as long as the goal is synergy. Every layer of leverage should reinforce the others. This isn't about building everything at once, it's about stacking intentionally. 1 high leverage asset per month, 1 automation per week. 1 relationship building habit per day. It adds up. Think in systems, not steps. Think in workflows, not checklists. Your goal is simple: do the work once, let it echo across multiple channels, and let your audience respond, because you've earned the right to lead them. The real magic of stacking leverage is that your work gets smarter over time. You're not just publishing content. You're feeding your system. You're not just growing followers. You're deepening resonance. And you're not just selling products. You're creating a flywheel of value and trust that spins without your constant effort. It takes time to build. But once it's running, the results feel unfair. Because while others are still chasing reach or hustling for clicks, you're living in the world you built. 1 where every new visitor enters a guided experience. 1 where your ideas compound. 1 where you do less, but earn more. Leverage multiplies when content, tech, and audience work together. A system built once can drive results indefinitely. Don't build in silos. Stack your assets for exponential return. Which layer of leverage, content, tech, or audience, are you underutilizing right now? Map out a simple 3-step leverage flow: 1 piece of content, 1 automation, 1 audience channel. Connect them this week. Chapter 5. The Anti-Hustle Schedule: Designing a Creator's Week. Most creators don't have a time problem. They have a leverage problem disguised as a time problem. Their weeks are stuffed with tasks, deadlines, and distractions, so they assume the answer is to work longer. But hustling harder just stretches the same broken model. The real fix is rethinking how your time is spent. Not more hours, better hours. Not full calendars, focused ones. The anti-hustle schedule is built on intention. It protects your energy. It prioritizes leverage. It creates space for your best work to thrive. Start by zooming out. What actually moves the needle? Not responding to DMs. Not tweaking your website font. The high-impact work, the stuff that compounds, is creating assets, building systems, and connecting with your audience. Everything else is noise. The goal of your schedule isn't to do more. It's to make sure the right things get done. If you're doing leveraged work consistently, you don't need to fill 40 hours. You need to protect 10 really valuable ones. That starts with blocking your week by function, not reaction. Theme your days. Give each day a clear purpose. Maybe Mondays are for planning and strategy. Tuesdays are for creating long-form content. Wednesdays for meetings and outreach. Thursdays for editing and systems. Fridays for reflection and resets. When your week has rhythm, your mind has space. You stop starting from zero every morning. You step into a flow you've already designed. Then batch your tasks. Context switching kills momentum. If you're jumping between writing a newsletter, checking analytics, and hopping on a call, your brain is burning energy just trying to keep up. Instead, batch similar tasks. Write 3 emails in one sitting. Record 2 podcast episodes back to back. Schedule your social posts for the week in one focus block. Batching turns scattered hours into strategic leverage. It multiplies your creative output without multiplying effort. Another key is the daily focus block. 1 to 2 hours a day, fully protected, no notifications, no meetings. This is where the magic happens, your deepest work, your asset creation zone. If you just protect that single window, you can build more in a week than most do in a month. And when that work is leveraged, content, products, automation, it continues to deliver results long after the time is spent. But even a perfect plan means nothing if your energy is shot. Your calendar must align with your natural rhythms. Are you sharpest in the morning? Protect that time like gold. Are you creative at night? Don't waste those hours on email. Energy, not time, is your true resource. The anti-hustle schedule honors that. It bends around you instead of forcing you to conform to someone else's structure. Rest is part of this too. Recovery is strategic. Creators who never unplug lose clarity. They burn out and wonder why their content lacks punch. The best ideas come when your mind is free, not frenzied. So bake in white space. Plan walks. Take digital Sabbaths. Let boredom return, because it fuels creativity. Rest is not the reward for productivity. It's the foundation of it. You don't need a complex system. You need a calendar that reflects your values. A schedule that prioritizes leverage. A week designed around who you are and what matters most. When you build that, you move from chaos to clarity. You stop reacting and start creating, and your output, your revenue, and your satisfaction rise, without the burnout. The goal isn't to do nothing. It's to do what only you can do, and to let systems and assets carry the rest. A leveraged schedule prioritizes impact, not activity. Theme days, batch tasks, and protect focus time. Energy management beats time management. What part of your current schedule is stealing your best energy without giving leverage in return? Block 2 hours this week for focused, leveraged work, no distractions, protected like your most important meeting. Chapter 6. Minimum Viable Assets. Start small, scale smart. A creator named Dev had an idea for a course. He spent 3 months outlining modules, recording videos, designing a fancy landing page, and setting up a payment gateway. He launched it with a whisper and sold 2 copies. Crushed, he stepped back. A few weeks later, he posted a free 5-page guide summarizing what he'd learned. It took 2 hours to write. In 24 hours, it got shared 400 times. The next week, he turned it into a $9 product. It made more in a weekend than his full course had in 3 months. Why? Because he started small. He built a minimum viable asset. Most creators think they need something big, polished, and perfect to earn. But leverage doesn't begin with scale. It begins with utility. The minimum viable asset, MVA, is a small, useful, testable product that solves a real problem. It might be a checklist, a swipe file, a 30-minute workshop, or a Notion template. You don't need a huge audience or expensive software to make one. You just need to package something helpful and deliver it clearly. That's it. MVS lets you test ideas without wasting time. Instead of building in the dark, you launch something simple and see how people respond. Do they download it? Do they finish it? Do they ask for more? That feedback loop is leverage. It tells you what to build next. Every big product starts as a small signal. Your job is to find it. The MVP approach that startups use? It works for creators too. Small experiments, fast feedback, quick pivots. The power of an MVA is that it reduces risk. It lowers the bar for entry. You don't need 6 months. You need 6 hours. You don't need a film crew. You need a Google Doc. If you can solve a real problem in a bite-sized way, you've earned attention and trust. From there you can scale. Turn a free PDF into a paid mini-course. Turn a coaching call outline into a digital guide. Turn your DMs into a FAQ product. Small builds momentum. And here's where leverage kicks in. Once your MVA is live, it becomes an asset. You can pair it with content. Set up an automation. Share it with your list. It leads people into your world. It delivers value up front. It builds trust. And if it's truly helpful, it spreads. One template can reach thousands. One quick win can drive long-term relationships. One tiny product can create a long tail of passive income. Don't fall for the myth that you need a big launch to start earning. You need a clear solution. Start with a single question. What do people keep asking you for help with? Package that. Not perfectly, just effectively. Done is better than perfect. Valuable is better than pretty. The most respected creators didn't start with an empire. They started with something useful. The beauty of MVAs is that they let you fail quietly and succeed loudly. If something flops, no big deal, you didn't overbuild. If it hits, you have proof, and with that proof you can reinvest, improve it, expand it, or build the next layer. You're not stuck guessing. You're stacking leverage. Start with one. Make it good. Make it useful. Make it now. And remember, assets don't have to be massive to be meaningful. They just have to work. Minimum viable assets are simple, testable products that solve real problems. Starting small lets you move fast, get feedback, and reduce risk. Small assets become scalable leverage over time. What do people consistently ask you for that you could package into a small, useful asset? Draft one MVA this week, a checklist, worksheet, or guide. Launch it in its simplest form and see how people respond. Chapter 7. Shiny Objects versus Smart Systems. Focus that compounds. Every week, there's a new tool, trend, or tactic promising creators the edge they've been missing. A fresh platform. A viral format. A must-have feature. And just like that, focus is gone. Time that could have been spent building something lasting is now eaten up by experimentation with the latest shiny object. The irony? The creators who look the most innovative are usually the ones doing the least switching. They're not chasing every new thing, they're doubling down on the few that work. Shiny object syndrome is the silent killer of leverage. It disguises itself as research, exploration, and staying current, but what it really does is reset your momentum. Every time you chase something new, you're abandoning something that was already working. You jump from newsletter to video, from Twitter to Threads, from Teachable to some new app, and none of it compounds. Instead of stacking value, you scatter your energy, you stay busy, but you never get leverage. Smart creators build systems. Not perfect ones, repeatable ones. They find the channels that work, and they work them deeper, not wider. They pick a format that fits and they master it. They automate what's repeatable. They template what's recurring. They measure what matters. When something is working, they optimize it. When something isn't, they cut it. Focus becomes a filter, not just a goal. Take Ellis, a solo creator who built a $200K a year business by doing 3 things: writing a weekly newsletter, offering a single digital product, and showing up on Twitter. That's it. No YouTube channel. No elaborate funnel. No big team. Just ruthless clarity. Every system he created, email automation, product delivery, feedback loops, served those 3 pillars. He got bored before his audience did. That's the trap most fall into. They think consistency is stagnation. But to your audience, consistency is trust, and to your business, it's momentum. Systems don't have to be fancy. A simple Notion dashboard to track content ideas. A Google Sheet for planning. A recurring weekly review to check numbers and adjust. It's not about the tools, it's about committing to the process. The moment you systemize, you remove decision fatigue. You spend less time thinking about what to do and more time doing it. The more repeatable your process, the more room you have for creativity. There's freedom in constraint. Boundaries sharpen focus. Instead of reacting to trends, you respond with strategy. Instead of asking what should I post today, you already know. Instead of building new offers every month, you improve what's already converting. That's how leverage works, not by doing more, but by doing less more effectively. Every shiny object steals your future focus. The cost isn't just time, it's traction, because while you're exploring the next thing, someone else is refining the current one. Someone else is showing up consistently, earning trust, and compounding value. When you look up, they're not just ahead, they're untouchable, not because they're smarter, but because they stayed focused. So ask yourself, what's already working? How can you do it better? What would it look like to commit to one platform, one product, and one process for 90 days? Leverage comes from depth, not breadth. Progress comes from simplicity, not complexity. The next big thing isn't out there. It's already in your system, if you'll stop chasing and start building. Chasing shiny objects resets momentum and kills leverage. Smart systems allow for repeatability, consistency, and compounding growth. Focus creates the clarity needed to scale with less effort. Reflection question: what are you currently doing that feels scattered or reactive? What would happen if you simplified? Pick one platform, one content format, and one product. Commit to them for 30 days without switching. Build the system, not the hype. Chapter 8. From solo to scalable: when and how to hire help. You don't need a team to start, but eventually you'll need one to scale. At some point, doing everything yourself stops being a badge of honor and starts being a bottleneck. That's the moment to consider help, not because you can't do the work, but because you shouldn't be the one doing all of it. Leverage isn't just about tools and content. It's also about people. The right support at the right time can free you to focus on what only you can do. Many creators wait too long to delegate. They tell themselves they're not big enough yet, or that hiring is too expensive. But hiring isn't about luxury, it's about leverage. It's how you buy back your time. And often, it starts smaller than you think. One part-time assistant, one freelancer, one contractor for one task. You don't need to build a team, you need to offload the things that slow you down. Start by identifying your friction points. What do you keep putting off? What drains your energy every week? Where are you the slowest part of your own system? That's your delegation shortlist. Maybe it's editing videos, managing your inbox, scheduling posts, handling customer support, or designing graphics. If it's repeatable, teachable, or low value, it doesn't belong on your plate forever. Your job is to design the system. Someone else can run it. Hiring well starts with clarity. Don't just say, "I need help," be specific. I need someone to schedule my newsletters each week and report on open rates. Or, I need a VA to manage customer service emails Monday through Friday. The clearer you are, the easier it is to find someone who can actually help. Vague needs lead to vague hires, and disappointing results. Specific roles lead to specific wins. It's also okay to start slow. Hire for a project, not a position. Pay someone to clean up your email sequences, or transcribe podcast episodes. See how it feels to let go. Test their communication, evaluate their reliability. You're not just buying time, you're building trust. A small, dependable hire is more valuable than a cheap, chaotic one. When you find someone who gets your workflow and fits your style, keep them close. Some creators worry that hiring will make things more complicated. In the short term, it might. Training someone takes effort. Letting go of control takes humility. But on the other side of that discomfort is freedom. Because when you're no longer buried in the weeds, you can finally focus on the work that drives growth, thinking, creating, connecting. You can zoom out and lead. The most successful creators aren't solo forever. They evolve. At some point, their brand becomes bigger than one person, but that doesn't mean building an empire. It means building a support system. A lean, focused, high-trust team that keeps the machine running while you do what you do best. You don't need full-time employees. You need leverage-minded partners who help carry the load. Hiring is an investment. And like any investment, it requires timing, testing, and trust. But done well, It returns time, clarity, and scale. It moves you from operator to owner, from overwhelmed to organized, from stuck in the weeds to steering the ship. So don't wait until you're drowning to get help. Start building the support structure now, one role at a time. Because you were never meant to build this alone. Hiring is about leverage, not luxury. It buys back your time and energy. Start small with specific, friction-reducing roles or tasks. A lean, aligned support system enables scale without burnout. What task do you repeatedly avoid or resent that someone else could easily handle? Write a short task description for a role you could delegate this month. Then post it, ask for referrals, or hire for a test project. Chapter 9. What is leverage? The creator's shortcut to scale. Give me a lever and a place to stand, and I'll move the world. That ancient quote by Archimedes has never been more relevant, especially for creators. Leverage is the unseen force behind every fast-scaling business, every solo entrepreneur who seems to do the work of 10, every creator who appears everywhere without burning out. It's not hustle. It's not luck. It's leverage. And once you understand it, you can build your entire creative life around it. At its core, leverage means doing something once and benefiting from it many times. It's the opposite of trading time for money. Instead of relying on constant input, you build systems that continue to deliver results after the work is done. This could be a piece of content, a digital product, an automated workflow, or a loyal audience. The key is that the effort scales. One action, multiplied impact. There are three primary types of leverage in the creator economy: content, tech, and audience. Content leverage is about building assets, videos, podcasts, courses, newsletters that continue to bring value over time. Tech leverage automates what you'd otherwise do manually, giving you scale without hiring. Audience leverage allows you to launch, grow, and sell through trust, not brute force. Each of these is powerful alone. Together, they transform the way you work. Traditional models of success tell us to work more to earn more. But in the leverage model, you decouple effort from income. You build things that keep working even when you stop: a video that brings in leads, a funnel that sells while you sleep, a community that spreads your message. Leverage gives you freedom, not by doing less work total, but by doing more work up front that pays off for a long time. To use leverage well, you must change how you think about productivity. It's not about crossing things off a to-do list. It's about creating assets that reduce future effort. A checklist today is just a task. A recorded tutorial? A system. An email you write once becomes a sequence that sells to thousands. A thoughtful tweet sparks hundreds of replies, some of which become relationships, opportunities, or customers. Leverage turns creation into multiplication. But leverage isn't instant. It requires patience and long-term thinking. A YouTube channel may take months to gain traction, but when it does, each video becomes a tiny salesperson. An automation may take an hour to set up, but it saves you dozens every month. Leverage is often invisible at first. Then, all at once, it clicks. Results stack. Systems hum. Revenue flows without constant input. That's the tipping point where creators stop surviving and start scaling. It also requires intentional design. You can't stumble into leverage. You have to build it. That means asking better questions. Can this be reused? Can this be automated? Can this be taught once and applied forever? Instead of solving the same problem over and over, you build a solution that lives on. That's the mindset shift from worker to architect. Most importantly, leverage gives you choice. When your income isn't tied to your hours, you can decide how to spend your time. You can create for joy, not survival. You can rest without guilt. You can say no to low-value work. The goal isn't to do nothing. The goal is to do the right things, then let your systems and assets carry the rest. Leverage is the creator's shortcut to scale. Not because it's easy, but because it's exponential. And once you start building with it, there's no going back. Leverage is doing something once and earning from it repeatedly. The three core types are content, tech, and audience. Leverage unlocks freedom, choice, and scalable growth. Where in your work are you still trading time for results when you could build something that compounds? Pick one task you do repeatedly, turn it into a reusable asset or automated process this week. Chapter 10. The new economy. Trading hours for assets. There was a time when income was directly tied to time. You clocked in, did your work, and got paid by the hour, the week, or the month. The formula was simple: work more, earn more. But that model was built for factories and office buildings, not for creators. In the digital world, that equation is broken. The highest earners today aren't the ones working the longest hours. They're the ones building the most valuable assets. They've made the shift from time-based income to asset-based income, and it's changing everything. In the creator economy, assets are anything you build once that can earn repeatedly. A course, a podcast, a paid newsletter, a digital guide, a membership, a template library, these are the new income engines. They don't require you to show up every time someone buys. You front-load the effort, and then the asset does the work. It might feel strange at first. You're used to thinking in hours. But this new model rewards you for thinking in outcomes. Assets have leverage built in. A coaching call helps one person once. A recorded workshop helps hundreds forever. Writing a helpful email every day is a grind. Turning your best insights into an evergreen sequence is an asset. Most creators are stuck in time-based loops. They trade effort for output, one day at a time. But the ones who escape that loop are the ones who start building libraries instead of logs. Take Alex, a freelance writer. He used to charge by the hour. He was good, fast, and in demand. But he was also capped. More income meant more hours, and burnout wasn't far behind, so he started building assets. He turned his pitch templates into a digital product. He recorded a mini course on finding clients. He created a newsletter with sponsored slots. Within a year, his time-based income dropped, but his overall revenue doubled. Why? Because his hours were no longer his ceiling. His assets worked while he rested. The new economy doesn't reward effort, it rewards impact. That doesn't mean you stop working. It means you shift what your work produces. Instead of just delivering content, you design assets. Instead of solving the same problem repeatedly, you document and distribute the solution. Your goal isn't to get paid for every hour. Your goal is to make sure your hours have downstream value. Hours that echo. Hours that compound. The biggest mental block creators face is believing they're not ready to create assets, that they need a bigger audience or more experience, but that's backward. You gain traction by building assets, not waiting for permission. Start where you are. Package what you know. Turn your process into a product. What you've already done is enough to help someone who's a few steps behind. And if it helps one, it can help many. The old way of working will always feel familiar. It's safe. Predictable. You know exactly how you're getting paid, but it's also limited. You have to show up constantly. And if you stop, so does the income. The new way takes longer to set up, but it pays you back endlessly. It lets you build a life around flexibility, freedom, and focus. You're no longer on the clock. You're building the clock. So ask yourself, what have you created that could keep working without you? If the answer is nothing, you're still trading time. But that can change today. Build one asset, launch it, let it live. Then build another. That's how modern creators earn more, without earning burnout. The new economy rewards asset-based income, not hourly effort. Digital assets scale your work and decouple income from time. You don't need permission. Start building what you already know. What part of your expertise or process could be turned into a repeatable, scalable asset? Choose one time-based service you offer. Outline how you could package it into a product or evergreen format this month. Chapter 12. Do less, earn more. Your leverage blueprint for the long game. You've now seen what leverage really looks like, not theory, practice, not hype, structure. You've walked through the systems, stories, and strategies that turn creators from overwhelmed hustlers into focused builders. This isn't about shortcuts or easy money. It's about shifting the way you create value. The old path says grind harder. The new path says build smarter. That's the essence of leverage, and it's how you do less but earn more. This book isn't an endpoint. It's a blueprint. You don't have to do everything at once. In fact, you shouldn't. Leverage is a long game. You lay one brick at a time. You start with one evergreen piece of content, one system that saves you time. One audience relationship deepened through real trust, one product that solves a real problem. You build slowly, patiently, but with purpose, and over time, your body of work begins to work for you. There's a moment every creator faces, the choice between more hustle or more leverage. It doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it shows up as burnout. Other times as a gut feeling that something needs to change. If that's where you are now, good, that's the starting point, the invitation. You don't need to quit your job or vanish for 6 months. You just need to shift the question you're asking. Not how can I work harder, but what can I build today that earns tomorrow? The answer will guide you. Because that question puts you in the mindset of an architect. You stop reacting. You start designing. You stop chasing dopamine hits from likes and views. You start creating assets, systems, and audience relationships that multiply. You realize that the best use of your time isn't more output, it's building things that create output without you. That's the secret the top 1% of creators understand. They've decoupled their income from their effort. And they keep it simple. You don't need dozens of offers, platforms, or tools. You need a tight, focused ecosystem where each part supports the others. Content that drives interest. Tech that handles the delivery. Audience that amplifies the message. That's your leverage triangle. Everything you build should fit within it. When you focus like that, every piece becomes more powerful. Every move compounds. Most people will keep grinding. They'll post daily without strategy. They'll chase trends and burn out. But not you. Because now you know better. You know the difference between busy and productive, between output and outcome, or between attention and trust. You've seen what's possible when you step off the treadmill and start building the machine. That doesn't mean it's always easy. There will be seasons where growth feels slow, times when systems break, days when you question the path. But if you stay rooted in leverage, you'll always find your way back, because leverage builds stability. It builds freedom. It builds choice. The ability to spend your time where it matters most, not where the algorithm demands. So here's your next step. Pick one thing, one leverage project, one asset, system, or relationship worth investing in. Don't overthink it. Just start. Build it. Launch it. Learn from it. Then do it again. That's how leverage grows, one small smart move at a time. And before long, you'll look back and realize you didn't just build a business, you built a life that works. Not because you did more, but because you built what mattered and let it multiply. Leverage is built one focused, intentional step at a time. The most successful creators design systems, not just content. This is a long game, and every smart asset moves you forward. What single leveraged action will you commit to in the next 7 days that future you will thank you for? Choose one idea from this book. Block 2 focused hours this week to start building it. Publish it, test it, and begin your next chapter. Take care and be well.